Okay, so we are back at the lathe. I've got my rough and gouge right here. Okay, so we're almost round. So again, the rough and gouge is going to be resting on the tool rest. That's your lever. Then you're going to introduce the heel of the tool first. So this is the heel, and then you're going to rub this bevel. So what that means is you're going to be touching the heel, and then you're slowly going to pick that tool up until it just engages the cutting edge. Okay, and then you're going to move it around back and forth. So again, if this is just straight in, you're going to be taking a cut, but it's going to be more of a scrape. You want to be rubbing the bevel here, riding, okay, the round of the mallet. Okay, so rub heel first, bring up till it gets the cutting edge. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so heel first, bring it up until you just get a cut. As soon as you get that cut, then you can start going back and forth. Okay, I'm already almost round here, so my speed is a lot higher than it was when I was roughing. Okay, and the biggest challenge on the mallets is going to be that there's different speeds. So if we have the head, so the head should always be toward the headstock. So the head of the mallet should be toward that. That's the most weight, and also it's going to cause the less vibration. Handle will be toward the tailstock. But as the head is rotating, it's going to be rotating a lot faster than the handle. Okay, so it gets confusing sometimes because you're taking really nice smooth cuts on the head of the mallet, and then your rotation on the handle is actually way slower. So you might have to adjust the speed, as you're kind of doing the head or the tail. Okay, so the other thing I want to do is start laying out for where the head is going to be. I can use another mallet for kind of an example. Okay, or I can kind of go off whatever I want. So if I go there, so I want to leave a little bit of waste on either end. Okay, so I just have to know where the handle is going to start. Okay, and again, I can either go ahead and just rotate that around here. Okay, or I can go ahead and turn on the lathe and do it that way too. Okay, so now I can see those lines. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take the parting tool, which is this guy right here. Okay, it's going to be a very similar thing, right? I'm going to be rubbing the heel first, and I'm going to slowly pick it up and introduce the cutting edge. So you can actually think about this, okay, as just a piece of the rough and gouge, right? So if I just slice the middle out of the rough and gouge, this is giving me a parting tool. So I just have nice sides here that are nice and straight, so I can just push this in as deep as I want. Okay, the rough and gouge obviously would be limited because it's going to drive into the piece. Okay, so I'm just going to rub the bevel just like I did before, and then introduce the cutting edge. Okay, and with this tool I do have to pick up my back hand in order to keep the edge engaged. If I were just to go ahead and take the parting tool and just drive it in, eventually there would be a point where it stops cutting, okay, which is right there. So I have to pick up my right hand in order to keep that edge engaged. And that'll allow me to take it all the way down, okay, to getting close to my live center. Okay, obviously hitting the metal part should be avoided at all costs. But I just want to give myself a little bit of room, okay, to be able to avoid hitting this metal piece with my other tools. Okay, so this is all going to be weight. Okay, I can do that back and forth. I want it to be pretty, but I don't really care because again, it's going to be waste. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that to this end as well. And I also want to go ahead and do it, okay, down to a rough distance where my handle is going to start. Okay, it's going to start heating up, so I recommend kind of backing off, doing a little bit bigger opening. Okay, and then kind of going in a little deeper. Again, I don't want to take this down to the complete width of my handle yet, because I don't want to get a bunch of vibration. I just want to give myself a little relief between the head and the handle, so I can actually start forming this piece a little better. Okay, and I also want to give myself enough room that I'm not going to knock my rough and gouge, okay, into the head of this mallet. That would be very unfortunate. Remember, it's got those high wings on it. Okay, so now I've given myself a little room here, and a little room there. I'm not going to do it right now. So now I can go ahead and introduce my roughing gouge again. Okay, and then start taking this handle down a little bit further. Okay, I just want to make sure that there's enough room that I'm not going to dig one of these wings in. So we got these high wings, obviously, on this tool. So you don't want to dig one of these wings into the head stock part. Okay, so just make sure that there's enough room that you're not going to accidentally gouge it, because that thing's going to get spinning pretty fast. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and take this down to a rough width, okay, with the roughing gouge. Okay, so then I'll have the headstock, or the head of the mallet delineated, and then the handle of the mallet delineated as well.